Hello, Dondoko Island Tour Guide here. I'm here to show you guys my island as a backdrop while I talk to you guys about this Dondoko Island game mode and how I think it could benefit this franchise significantly just by making a few changes. Now, I think this is a hidden gem in the Yakuza franchise. It's like totally overlooked. It should be investigated because this thing is outstanding. Like, despite the limitations that we have, I've seen a lot of people put together some very nice islands and try their best to make their island stand out so they get visitors. Unfortunately, this mode was only meant as a side quest, and I guess they didn't expect it to be as fun as it is and as addictive as it is. The Yakuza fan base really likes this game mode, and you guys can see that I'm a fan of it too. Just for this part, I wanted to show you guys this part of the island is what I've learned from visiting you guys and going to your islands. I've seen a lot of people use shrubbery. I've never used shrubbery because I didn't really care for it much. I wanted to create like an urban island. But after visiting you guys' island, I was so inspired that I decided to use shrubbery. And I also learned from you guys that less is more. So I took away a lot of structures just to make it plain, to give the image of comparing the beauty. Like on this side of the road, where you see the cafe, this side is less, but on the other side with all the restaurants is more cluttered over there, so it shows the contrast. So like back to what I was saying about the island itself, I think that RGG Studios should reinvest in this. Now think about it, right? You can make the community airtight like this. These islands are special to us because we get to build something and put characters that we love in this place and walk around it and bask in our creativity and the immersion of the game. With that said, there are some things in this mode that I would like to see improvements on, and I think that it will make this game outstanding. Now let's start with number one. Number one is reviews. Now, when it comes to these islands, right, a lot of times you see the islands with the highest stats and you go there and it's nothing but spammed golden statues. It turns out that whatever structures you lay down, it gives you more points, and that makes your island more appealing. The golden statues are essentially like a cheat code. You put a bunch of them down, your numbers go all the way up. But as a result, your island suffers because it's trash. It's just a idle graveyard. Well, with the reviews, I think, if players are allowed to leave reviews, you can get an idea of where you're heading. So someone can leave like maybe like a 3-star or 4-star, rather than having the stars be in relation to how many things you put down or how much money you make. The stars could be from actual players too. And I think that when you do that, then we have a trustworthy we have a trust-based relationship amongst the fans. Someone can leave a 3-star review and then write under in a caption like, it's all right, but it's a little, basic, or there's not enough roads laid down, or everything seems random. And with these reviews, right, not only are you getting an idea of where you're heading, but also Ichiban has a phone, so this can pop up as a notification for you. If someone visits your island, you could get a notification. You could get a notification of how much money you made off of them, and you can also see their review pop up in a text message or on the site's board main page. I think that this is hilarious because gamers are hilarious people. We're funny. And people can leave funny reviews. Like someone can say this island is trash, or this island is this, or this island is that, or it's like a dumpster, it's like the worst part of Kamurocho. That right there is world building. And I think that if Yakuza implements this, not only would it make finding good maps easier, but it will build a community, and this community will explode without a doubt. Now, the second thing I would like to see them add to this game mode is I would like to see them add interactions between characters. Now, it hurt my heart to see Taichi in the same area as Kiryu, and they just don't interact at all. Like Kiryu's looking at like a machine and Taichi's looking at a store, and they just walk by each other like nothing happened. I think that if Yakuza were to have a game mode like this where all the players or all the characters can be in one place, I think that base interactions will be pretty good. Like having them stop for conversations, using text bubbles over their head to get, little pieces of lore that you never really would get from the main story. Stuff that adds like the cherry on top. Like you could have like Majima and Kiryu talk about a flashback that we never get to see in game. Or you can have Taichi and Kiryu catch up. It doesn't have to be canon to the story. It's just a side thing. So it's not like Taichi knows Kiryu's alive, but having them interact, I think, would be a great change of pace. And it'll also give that otherworldly vibe to Dondoko Island, making it seem more surreal and pretty much alive. And if you want to stretch things, I think that there is a system that this island can use that is better than the one that's already provided. Now, hear me out, okay? So this is part of the video is about the system, an idea that I have. So you know how this island works on popularity and money, right? Ichiban has a camera, and Yakuza Infinite Wealth implements the camera a lot. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that to boost popularity, Ichiban needs to take pictures. And I think these pictures can be used as advertisements for the island. So how would they go about this if this was implemented? Here's how I would do it. I would have personalities. You know how like structures have like sleazy, pop, elegant, etc. in this mode? I would have like characters have these traits but differently. So for instance, Haruka could be, she could have like a pop vibe, whereas Majima would be sleazy. So if you were to house them together, bunk them together in the same house and in the same part of the island, they would have a confrontational interaction. Like Majima would be extremely inappropriate and Haruka wouldn't like it. So as a result, Haruka wouldn't have a good time on the island, so she might leave with a frowny face or a mid face. But you get to snap pictures of her interactions with Majima and then post it to create notoriety for your island. So now your popularity goes up at the expense of Haruka's experience at your island. She will come back, but her experience was bad that day. And you post what happens, like her slapping Majima or something, on your webpage, and then it draws in new customers. So that system right there was pretty good, because now not only are you focusing on the island and the vibe itself, but you're focusing on the individuals you're inviting. So it's better than just finding out what gift someone likes and then you giving it to them. I think that that's a okay idea, but it's not as powerful as putting people together. Because what's the point of giving people food when there's restaurants on your island? So with that said, right, if you're housing, like, let's say someone insane, like a dominatrix with like, some kids or something, their interactions are going to be minimum. They'll have a good time. They'll have casual small talk maybe, but nothing crazy will happen. But if you put like that dominatrix with like, let's say again, Majima or something, and then it could spark a moment. These moments from like the older Yakuza games where you work for Mac and you got to take the snapshots of events happening. You could have that on the island. So something crazy would happen with the dominatrix and Majima. You capture it on camera. And because you put the right people together, they're both sleazy. No one has a negative experience, but you also get a snapshot to raise your island's notoriety. I think that that's really cool. So that's one thing I would like to be implemented. Personalities, special events, interactions, as well as like, a camera mini game. I think these are good ideas. And I know RGG are capable of a lot because there are already animations in the game. Like if you were to have like Majima and Kiryu housed together, when they walk around the island, they may be looking at structures and such. But occasionally, just like when they sit down on a bench, you look away when they're looking at a bench and you look back and they're already sitting on it. You can have the same effects with Majima and Kiryu. Like if they walk and they face each other off and you turn back or whatever and you turn back, they're in a loop fight animation. Kind of like when you're at the arenas and you see the NPCs fighting each other. They're kind of looping, but they're in an animation. You can have that for Kiryu and Majima, throwing punches and kicks while having like 3 or 4 people cheer them on in a circle. And you could take a snap picture of that and post it on the site and raise your notoriety too. So again, it's about mixing the personalities and the people together, and you might get something interesting out of it. But what I would really like to see in this mode are roads, like legit roads, where you can implement roads onto your island and have vehicles actually moving on those roads. That'll absolutely boost the livelihood of the map so it doesn't feel dry all the time. I think that would be pretty cool, like a pretty cool addition, just to implement roads. And they don't even have to be massive. They just have to be, small enough for immersion. Because the Dondoko Island has a lot of cars and a lot of buses and mobile options. But there's no mobility to these options. They're all just for visuals, to stand there and look pretty. So I think that to have a road and place vehicles on that road would be very, very dope. Now, this idea is a very, very easy addition. And I think that audio should be it. Now, when it comes to Dondoko Island, they have this same music that loops all the time. It is kind of torturous. But we have structures in this game. The only things that really make sound are like the fountains and such, like, water-based things. You don't really get any audio from anything else. So if I'm going to place like a club, like Stardust, on my map, I want to hear some music coming from it. Because that will bring life to the game. I want to hear some music and some audio from inside the building of whatever character model walks in there. Like if like, let's say Kiryu or Chitose walks in there. Like she gets off the bench and she walks into that gaming building right there. If she does that, I want to hear her having a good time on the arcades in there. Or if they could even model it, have like the windows be see-through and have like a base layout like those unenterable buildings in Kamurocho. And just have them in there doing stuff to make it seem like they're actually spending money rather than looking at it. That'll add more life to the map. Yeah, this part of the map, I was inspired by someone I saw stack a lot of things together. So I used that idea and started like putting a bunch of arcades together. This part of the map, I did this based off of a neighborhood vibe. Because I went to someone's map and they had a very nice setup to where they had like a bunch of houses and plants everywhere. And it looked like a beautiful neighborhood. So I wanted to create like a suburb kind of nice town here. That's why this town kind of looks like this. I was going for like a vibrant, subtle, quiet neighborhood kind of look. That's why there are apartment buildings right there and a street with restaurants and such. And they have this parking lot back here that gives kind of a slightly urban feel, and I really like it. Now, when it comes back to like the Dondoko Island idea, right? This may be unpopular, but I think also animals should be included. Like instead of having like random bugs and grasshoppers and such in here, we could probably implement like cats on our own. Like, kind of like how Yagami could decorate his apartment. Maybe we could put like cats and dogs or whatever on this island. Maybe even monkeys, fun little unlockable stuff like that. We could place them on the island here. And another thing is, what if we're allowed to, participate or challenge our guests to combat? Wouldn't that be fire to be able to just walk up to Gary Buster Holmes right here and just fight him over like a burger from this restaurant or something? Like just to fight him, just the ability to fight him. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, it's important to remember also though, when you're designing a map, always remember how the items you use light up at night, because this game doesn't have like a ray trace lighting effect. The light essentially glows on this map, so that's something to keep in mind. So whenever you're placing structures, just remember how they light up. So it's very important to look at your items and craft items at night or at dusk, so you can get a general idea of how they look in the daytime and night. So that's how this setup looks good during the day and the night. I kind of specified, and I also base guess on how the background looks. That golden robot, I feel like the gold complements all of the red in this area, so I housed them up here so that he would be in this area. And it's the same with the rich lady that was on that street with all of the restaurants and such. I picked her because she's gold too, and I think that gold and red complements each other, and it's more of a red part of the map. Each part of the map I actually color coded. So on this part of the map you'll see mostly reds and such, but when it switched, right, like right here in this part, this area is more so like mixed. It's like I'm going for like a luxurious look. So you're gonna see the La Merche right there, the black fancy gates. You'll see a nice car right there. I'm going for more of like a cool Italian looking look right here. And another part of the map is gonna be like white, yellow, But this part, yeah, this part right here, I set this up so that it's more white and bluish. So if you look everywhere right here, is white and blue. So at nighttime when it illuminates, it gives that luminescence.
What should I do now?
So when it comes to, look, there, here he is. This cutie right there. And that's his little girlfriend right there, just checking the ATM. And then you have Tai Chi over to the right. None of them are interacting. And for me, this is really sad. I would really love to see all three of them interact and having a good time together. That's why I have this idea of like this combination where you house people together based on personalities and who they are and lore. And you will get mixed results. Like some people may mix, some people may have events where you could get your camera out and take a picture of them. But, you know, that's just an idea that's floating around. Now, a more practical idea when it comes to user interface of Dondoko Island, they should allow you to name your island specific things so that people can search you up or at least leave a favorite, because there are going to be some places that you absolutely really like because some of these artists are outstanding. But it's unfortunate that you can't favor any of the maps. But I also think that Dondoko Island should also have a feature for actual, you know, guests, like not AI guests, but for real people that visit your island. So instead of playing like the Sujimon trading card game or whatever, you can pick a game. So I would pick, me personally, I would pick Pocket Circuit Racer or Dragon Kart and make a course for that. Oh. And if you can make that on your island so that when guests, when they come, they could visit, that would be such a blast, and people will absolutely explode and create a community all around this island side quest. This island side quest has the ability to be its own game, I'm telling you. Look, this is the white I was talking about. Everything's white. And I picked the floor so they could reflect, but it didn't reflect as much as I thought it would. But yeah, like, you can pick like a combat-based island. You could probably have a combat arena on your island. All of the mini games that Yakuza has, it would be very nice if you can make those features on your island. So people not only have a reason to visit your island for the cosmetics or because they like how it looks, they could visit there because they like your setup and the mini games that you have to offer. So that way you could get probably more money than money from AI or NPCs. I mean, you could get money from other players spending it on your island and allowing you to build it bigger. I think that that is a beautiful idea. Look, I'm using the white again. So this part of the map, I color coded everything. That over there is white. This side is going to be purple. That Lucky building is a beautiful backdrop because it lights up at night, and during the day it looks very busy because of the graphic design. It kind of gives the illusion of movement. So right here you have purple, right straight ahead you have white. And this right here, this blue right here is like a whitish blue, so it's kind of like it helps like mediate the color. So to the left is red, to the left is white, to the right is purple, in the middle is blue, which acts as a neutral transition color. But blue mainly I put it there because it contrasts the yellow. So this part of the map is going to be warmer. These are warm colors, so this whole part of the map is going to be yellow. And as you can see, we walked past the arbitrarian lady. I picked her specifically because she has a gold kind of like cheetah shirt, and I think that she would look nice in this yellow part of the map. That red is there. That red bike is to stand out. Right here, I picked Majima because he's wearing gold, and I put him in the yellow part of the map. But again, I picked the woman over there because red kind of stands out, and I think it has like a kind of a nice, you know, contrasting thing. I don't know why I picked Saejima. I guess I picked him because Majima was here. Yeah, the combat could be a lot more on this map, and I think it'd be really cool if I could see Majima rough up some of these pirates, or even Saejima over there buying a hot dog and having the pirates interrupt him. And you could take a picture of it where he's like picking them up and throwing them over into the sea. I think that would be really cool. I don't know if I put anything over here, just light posts. That's pretty much it. Now, if we're over here at night, just like I said, so the left side is like more of a bluish color, but to the right, I made it purple. Like everything's purple. The trees are purple. The building's purple. The phone booth is just meant for light when you're down there at the Lucky building and you're looking up on this cliff. It gives more illumination. So here's this is the purple area. I have the square lights. Yep. Over here, the white didn't shine as much as I thought it would, but it's still decent enough. and it contrasts well, it doesn't contrast, but it kind of differentiates from the purple. Right here, the blue acts as a contrast. And then now we're in the warmer part of town. So we left the cool part of town. Now we're in the warmer part of town. The goldish yellow. Yep. Even the bananas are there for a reason. Everything is for a reason. That truck has yellow lights. That's why it's there. Yeah, so I do everything with intention, and I learn everything from you guys. I like details, though. As you can see, look at this area. I really love details. Like, I always put trash in the back of my buildings all the time. Yeah, and it's unfortunate. And there was another idea I had when I was making this map. You see this stand right here? It's a shame that there's no workers behind these stands. I think that can add to the immersion of the game. To have workers, like if you were to implement these garbage areas behind buildings, it will make production better. And if you were to hire workers, you would have a reason to make so much money. So you won't be stacked all the time. You have to actually pay people. I think that would be nice and a nice addition to this game here. Kind of like running a business, right? With the Ichiban Industries, and then with Kiryu running a business in Yakuza 0. This is kind of a business too. It could be the ultimate business game. But those are just some ideas I had about this map and this game mode, and some things that can make it significantly better. Like I said, it would be nice if you could add mini games, create your arenas, make arenas for players to come visit and fight. I think that these are good ideas, and I think that they will be a great addition to the Yakuza franchise. And it'll make the fan base even tighter and bigger. But with that said, I want to thank you guys for viewing the video. And I look forward to coming back and visiting you guys' islands and uploading it as soon as possible. Thank you very much, right? And take care.